Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Corporal Amelia Stafford. We warmly welcome the family of Private Samuel Arthur Sly, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching this ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed at the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Samuel Arthur Sly. Sam Sly was born in 1895 in Timmering, Victoria, the youngest son of Samuel and Margaret Sly. His father spent many years farming near Rochester, moving to Bullambong Station in the years immediately before the war. Sam attended the local state school before going on to work as a farmer. It was reported that he was highly esteemed for his excellent social qualities, and no one was surprised when he displayed his courage and volunteered for the army. Samuel Sly enlisted for service with the Australian Imperial Force in September 1915. He underwent a period of training before leaving for active service overseas with reinforcements to the 20th Battalion. On his final period of home leave, Sly was presented with a wristwatch and an embossed leather wallet on behalf of the residents of the district at a social. Sly was first sent to Egypt, where he continued training in the desert before being sent to France to fight on the Western Front. Shortly after the 20th Battalion's arrival in France, it was sent to fight on the Somme. On the 23rd of July 1916, the 1st Australian Division attacked and captured the French village of Pozières. Less than a week later, the 2nd Australian Division, of which the 20th Battalion was part, continued the fight along the ridge. Sly missed this first period in the front lines through having contracted a septic finger and would not enter the front lines until nearly a month later. On the 26th of August 1916, the 20th Battalion were back in the front line at Pozières. In the early hours of the morning, the German artillery bombarded the front line. At some point during the day, Private Samuel Sly was badly wounded and evacuated from the front line. The family were led to believe that Sam Sly had been retrieving wounded from no man's land and had been shot by a sniper through correspondence with a nurse. However, records indicate that he was wounded by shell fire and suffered from a significant wound to his back that penetrated into his chest cavity. Sly was most likely wounded during the early morning German bombardment, which was heavy enough to destroy the trenches he was sheltering in. He was too badly wounded to recover and died at a casualty clearing station the following day. His remains were buried in the Pochevriere British Cemetery, where he lies today under the words, "He fell in the cause of freedom and right." He was 21 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Samuel Arthur Sly, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow old, not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We'd like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.